Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Howdy, partner. How you doing?
Yes, sir. Comrade.
Comrade,
I'm looking for Comrade Jason, please.
pour me some vodka.
Yes, vodka for Jason, please. My comrade here to this side. This way.
Hey, welcome to everybody. This is not If by Vodka. This is If by Whiskey. So,
By whiskey, my friend.
welcome. We got a
How you
lot of
doing?
fun stuff to talk about. You had a busy weekend.
Yeah, can you tell from my voice?
You seem a little tired, I gotta say.
Yeah. I'll share a couple stories. But how are you, man? I honestly missed you. First of all, I went to this little thing called FreedomFest. A real quick blurb. I left Wednesday, went to Palm Springs. Dude, Palm Springs is old and gay, bro. Which is cool. Totally had a fun time. Even have stories about that. Totally great. It's like octogenarian and like it's great. It's just beautiful. And then but it's only 4 hours. So it's like even closer than Vegas. So we were like, honestly, it felt so quick. Was with my girl Megsy. We're there, came back Sunday. So we're up to like 2-3 every morning, and then also the next morning up at 6-7. So yeah, kind of tough, man. But I missed a lot. I heard something happened to a plane. I heard something happened with some other two countries. I heard maybe other countries involved. I heard other stuff, man. So I'm real excited to hear what's going on.
Yeah, man, it's been a wild time. It turns out that if you get the few dozen people that actually care about liberty and freedom together in one place, the whole world goes to shit because they're not holding everything else back in their
Yeah.
hometowns.
Oh, did you see my post? I think like so. If you guys do not know, last year Freedom Fest is traditionally held in July, and during Freedom Fest, the Butler assassination attempt happened. This year, Israel drops ball. It's like we moved it up a month to try to fuck with the gods a little bit, just a little bit, just
Well, that's much
tiny.
worse.
No,
Yeah.
made it work. We fudged it up, guys. Sorry, but look, Mark Skousen, Valerie Durham, Haley, the whole crew there. Sonia Gora was the top volunteer. She ran everybody else. Mike decentralized, free. I'll talk about everybody, but everybody was awesome. It was really good. Thank you to everyone who is currently joining us. We are approaching 10, sir, which we know it's happening soon, but we're approaching
Mm-hmm.
10, and we are another If by Whiskey. And sir, please tell us about today's episode.
Well, we can mention the India flight. I don't know how much there is to say there. Horrible tragedy, of course. One guy magically walked away unscathed, which I don't understand. But maybe we should check him, run some tests. He might be like the next Unbreakable.
Dude, psyop.
It's a psyop,
It's
and
always
I'm
a
sure
psyop,
Israel
man.
has something to
Okay,
do with it.
we're not we're just kidding, everybody, but like I heard something about the weird things about the plane. Did they move away from like UFO or drone strike and all this BS? Did they kind of step away from that like
It was the
conspiracy?
Anunnaki. They
Yeah.
they messed with the alignment of the pyramids, and the Bermuda Triangle kicked in.
Oh, I hate
Some
when that
magnetic
triangle kicks in.
force.
It's like a
Yeah.
wedge. It just wedges right in there. So
Yeah.
all right. Welcome. We are approaching 10, sir. We're approaching 10. So once again, welcome everybody. We're so happy to have you on a Monday for joining us. We're just pleased that you're joining us on a Monday. You could have better things to do, but you're with us. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for joining, everybody. We are going to talk about Iran and Israel. We did talk about just war theory last week, and thank you to Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu for lining that up so perfectly. Now we can talk about an actual war that's about to start.
Yay. Aren't we? Like, what's so interesting is my ideology has what I love to do is predict things and see whether or not they happen. Like Ukraine. Okay. This is my logical understanding of Ukraine. The guy who's running it, whoever that's going to be, is going to become the dictator against which they're fighting and do a lot of bad things to their own people and to keep power and to keep whatever and to keep milking or whatever. And look at that. Lo and behold, we're how many years into this? We predict these other things, all right? And I hate being right about these things, but people think we call for things when we say it, when we're literally observing and doing pattern recognition. I think that's something you have a strength at too.
Yeah. We observe things. We're not on anyone's side in this conflict. I guess the people are the ones who always suffer. The leaders don't.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we've gotten to the point, like in today's world, the way everything's intermingled is like, why wouldn't we try a more better way?
Right.
To resolve.
Yeah. And like I said last time, war is fake. It's all fake.
Yeah.
Not that people don't die and it's not horrible.
Won or loss, meant to be sustained.
The conflict is fake. The reasons are fake.
Yeah. And we'll talk about that too, because I get embroiled in boomer social network posts, and I get embroiled in some X stuff.
You just can't help yourself, man. You always get sucked in.
But no, a lot of these conversations do become very productive at the end. Like, look, by the way, howdy y'all. Howdy, I'm sorry, William.
Will I am in the house.
You want to read that one real quick? That would probably be a good one.
Have you seen a dog break up two cats fighting? Why isn't the U.S. the biggest superpower? Be the dog. The biggest superpower being the dog in this fight. Good question. I mean, yeah. At this point, maybe we're spread too thin. Maybe they can't.
Yeah, I think we might be spread a little too thin. So let me do a couple clickies here because I want to set this up right and be cool with it. But I want to show the comments on the screen because I think people said they liked it. So hopefully, please start typing away, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. First of all, William, Zach. I know we got a bunch of people.
And Zach, welcome, guys. I think we can start with our
sir.
Simulations.
So once again, do you mind telling us about why we're doing this? What kind of compelled us to start doing this, sir?
A tribute to the great Scott Adams, who has terminal cancer. May not last through the end of the year. Not sure, but it's very sad. He may be a bit of a boomer. He may be wrong about some things. He may not completely understand economics, but I've learned a lot from him. He's a good guy, in my opinion. So a tribute to Coffee with Scott Adams, and the simultaneous sip, we are having the moment that sends the lizard people running back to the sewers. It scrambles the CIA spy network, and it causes the simulation to drop a frame. Yes, it's our very own whiskey rebellion, known only as the simulation sip.
All you need is a cup, a mug, a goblet, a horn, a flask, or an ancient alien thermos filled with any beverage Big Pharma hasn't recalled yet. Could be coffee, tea, ivermectin smoothies, graphene oxide latte, dealer's choice, maybe even some whiskey.
If that's what you're into, join us as we raise our glasses together, confusing the AI overlords, forestalling the next CDC directives, and maybe, just maybe, waking up one more NPC. Here we go. Oh, that's good stuff.
The simulation sip, ladies and gentlemen, unplugged from the Matrix. Clearly, the red pill is not Republican. Just take it anyway. Okay, just take the red pill.
Yeah, welcome back to our little glitch in the Matrix, everybody. We got some good stuff for you. We're going to be talking about Iran. Maybe we just get into that.
Yeah, let's do it, my friend.
So what's been going on?
So once again, I know so little about so many things because I was just hoofing around in circles, meeting the most amazing, interesting, and most disagreeable people I've ever met. I mean, I didn't know that the autistic conference was in town, but yeah, we do lightheartedly call it that. But anyway, educate me, sir.
Yeah, man. The autism conference is great. That's one of the reasons I can't go, is because my autism clashes too much with the other tizzers, and I can't take it.
It's like matter and antimatter with double matter.
Yeah. But okay, so what you missed, here's a brief recap. Israel hits Iran on Thursday. Well, Thursday here, I guess Friday morning, local time. Israel's claiming Iran is, we may have heard this before, but Iran is just weeks away from having nuclear bombs. They have
I heard something weird about
WMDs,
that.
Mark.
What was that?
WMDs. They have WMDs.
Oh, yes. Yeah. WMD. Oh, man, I heard something about that before. I heard it like a couple times. I can't
They're
remember,
just
though.
minutes away. They were seconds away from completing a bomb when the great Israel decided to go bomb the people that knew how to do it. So,
they're so smart. I bet they have those same psychic abilities that some people claim they have. They probably went to the oracle on the mountain. They're like, hey, this is gonna happen. It's not even, look, 5 minutes away for 30 years. This was the 5 minutes. So,
this was it. We were, seconds away from annihilation. They were going to hit every site in the United States. Every big city was about to go down.
So can you remind me again, please, before we even continue, North Korea, because when Iran gets a nuclear, they're just going to use it. The second they get it, they're going to be like America was in World War II, and they're just going to use it right away, right? Like, who wouldn't? Remind me again, North Korea. When's the last time they used one? And then the leader guy of the Libya, that one country that's now like a slave state, completely has zero stability, completely destabilized. That guy, what happened to that leader guy when he gave up his nuclear program? I keep getting confused about these guys. I'm kind of a dummy.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you, man. We know every country that has a nuclear bomb immediately decides to use it.
Yeah, Pakistan, India, they literally had a war recently. Both nuclear powers. United States proxy war with Russia right now, and NATO just in general.
Mm-hmm. So there were negotiations ongoing by the United States. They were talking to people in Iran. They were saying, okay, we're going to make a deal. We're going to do this. Trump has confirmed this. Yeah, we're in the middle of making a deal. And then, boom, Israel hits. Strategically placed targets, by the way, which, if we understand anything from Gaza, that should have been impossible. They're not able to precisely hit a target in a building, when in Tehran, they hit exactly one room in an apartment building with a missile.
Yep.
So that's something.
And I've seen some of the maps, and because I believe Israel. Who wouldn't? At this point, who wouldn't believe them? But I see this map, and it's this perfectly color-coded map with all the things, and they're like, that's infrastructure of military, and that is military this, and that is military, and that is just energy infrastructure. That is this. These are not civilian. And then they show the map of Iran, and then it's just pinpoints everywhere, basically red, north and south of Iran, and going every target of Iran.
Yeah, I saw that, and that was complete bullshit.
Has anyone seen the Gaza Strip lately? It's a question. I'm just asking for a friend.
Yeah, so the United States at first said, oh yeah, we've not been involved in this. We didn't do any of it. I think it was Rubio that came out with a statement at first saying, yeah, this is Israel's deal. We have nothing to do with it. And then the same day, Trump comes out and praises. He says, these are excellent strikes by Israel. And he said, I knew the attack was coming because I know everything. I know everything. He said it. This is literally what he said.
More.
No,
more,
I'm done.
More.
There'll be more later. Don't worry.
Okay.
So, looking at what's been going on in the past between Israel and the United States, like, it seemed like there was a breakup. It seemed like Trump was kind of like, nah, you know what? We've had enough of this. We're not getting involved. I think that's all been a big misdirection at this point, because he knew about the strikes. He knew ahead of time. He apparently, what's being reported is they gave it a green light. They said yes, and right now, they are moving the warships into place. These refueling tankers, They're moving all the things. They're getting ready to attack. It could happen by the time we're done with this podcast, honestly.
Yeah. And the U.S. told everyone to leave. Antiwar.com, Dave DeCamp and his great work over there, the people there. And we'll share some stories about that. Also reported that his sources say U.S. is going to war.
And yeah, right before we got on here, Trump sent out on his Truth Social saying, everyone in Tehran, you need to evacuate. As if 10 million people can just get out of a city just like that. So
I'm still withholding the apology from Dave Smith, but might be coming pretty soon, I think. I love you, Dave. I really love Dave, and I haven't met him yet. I haven't had the honor, and I hope to, because I'm like Dave adjacent.
Yeah, I've met Dave. I was glad to see that, because that's one of the things I very strongly disagree with him on is the Trump support. I was not on board for that. I kind
he
of
compelled me to vote no for the first time ever.
Yeah.
And by the time he and Clint changed, and once again, this isn't criticizing that. I understand their ultimate lesser two evils, and it's correct. Kamala's trash, right? I mean, but
I
thought I voted no.
He was. I thought he was at least a little bit right that Trump would be the lesser of two evils. After, as of today, I do not think. I said this weeks ago, and I wasn't kidding, that I think we might have been better off had Kamala won.
Yeah, I just don't know if we get there, just be there quicker. Like, once again, you know what? We might do that. Let's do like one of these fantasy things. Like, what do you think would be different?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because we would look at maybe some of our policies, and that would be something fun to play with. It wouldn't be too bad, maybe for like a group or something, like a panel or something. Where we just look at like, hey, what are the things she wanted to do, and like, what would those effects have been, and how would that have helped? You know, helped, right? Any government's here to help, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you heard that.
Right. Yeah, that's going to be a theme of today: government being here to help.
For sure.
Some people still believe that, very unfortunately.
Yeah.
And you know what? As much as we might not like Iran, which the reasons that exists is a lot to do with the United States. The reason that they are as bad as they are is a lot to do with the United States overthrowing duly elected governments. Even though they're an Islamic state and they treat women horribly by Western standards, they're probably backing various terrorist groups. And on the other side, you have Israel, who's a Jewish state, and some people might say, oh, no, they have other people in there, even in their own government. But come on, it's like saying that the Federal Reserve is a private organization. They're independent from the government, which is ridiculous. So we've got a lot of people speaking out about this. Tucker Carlson is on the right side, in my opinion, saying, Trump, do not get into this war. Even if you hate Iran, even if you think they shouldn't have a nuke, this is making it worse. Glenn Beck is on the other side, giving us the exact same Iraq war propaganda that we had 20 years ago.
But it's different.
Have WMDs. They're evil. They chant death to America.
But it's not the same.
They hate us for our freedoms.
But it's different this time. No, it's a different kind of hate from different things, you know.
It's different because Iraq has a Q and Iran has an N at the end.
Did you see the bumper sticker with the is like IRA and then the Q was like a Q, half N, like it was flipping over?
Yeah, I see that.
That's a great meme. Guys, memes, I'm sorry, memes are like the new news. They're like the best news.
Yeah. But I thought we'd take a look at this one clip from Patrick Bet-David, who I think this is interesting because he is Iranian. So you might think that he would be more, at least understanding of the Iranian side, but in this clip, he is not. So do you have that one queued up? Yeah.
I have, sir.
There we go. Go ahead.
As a person that was born in Iran, yes, I can't stand this regime. Yes, they've called the only thing that's been persistent and consistent is the following. When the Shah was in Iran, did Israel already exist?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Mm-hmm.
Was Israel causing chaos? Was there war in the Middle East? Let me say this one more time. When Iran was ran by the Shah. What year was the Shah of Iran? What years did he run Iran?
53 through 79. I think.
Okay, 53 is the oil consortium. So 54 is the oil consortium. 41 to 79.
Oh, wow.
Because he started at 21 years old, young man, right? 41 to 79. When did Israel become a nation?
48.
Yeah.
Okay, so check this out. Why is it that between 48 to 79, while the Shah was the king of Iran, running Iran, why is it for 31 years there is no major war in the Middle East? Why is that?
Okay, can we pause right there?
It's all Israel's fault. How come there wasn't that in Iran for 31 years? I'm curious.
Yo, can we pause?
And why is it from 70?
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes,
yeah.
sir. Sorry, I was on.
I want to
mute,
pause
but
right
yes.
there because that is just simply false. There have been several wars whilst the Shah was in power. 1953 is when the coup happened.
What else happened in 1953, PVD, a mere 5 years after the creation of the nation state of Israel, that the CIA admitted?
Yes. So the CIA, the United States, readily admits, yes, we overthrew the elected government to install the Shah because they were worried about them nationalizing their oil supply. That was what happened. And since then, there were several wars. 1956, the Sinai War. Israel, with Britain and France, invaded Egypt, their Sinai Peninsula, to seize the Suez Canal, which the Egyptian president had nationalized. They wanted to regain control of that canal and weaken their neighbors, which resulted in they did capture Sinai, but they withdrew under the U.S. and UN pressure eventually. But that created some hard feelings. They had the 6-Day War in 1967. Israel launched preemptive strikes. History repeats itself against Egypt, Syria, Jordan, responding to Arab troop movements. So, hey, their troops are moving. We have no choice here. We gotta attack. Israel captured the West Bank, the Gaza Strip. This is when they took it over. The Sinai Peninsula again, and the Golan Heights. So this really enhanced Israel's territory. We've got the War of Attrition from 1967 to 1970, kind of a back and forth, on and off conflict. The Yom Kippur War, where Egypt retaliated into Israel, and there's been several other minor conflicts that happened. So it's
been a mostly peaceful type of tyranny.
Just to say that, oh well, when Israel and Iran was there with the Shah, who was installed by the U.S. because they'd be favorable, of course they were better partners with Israel. But there was a lot of shit going on. So it wasn't just this peaceful thing that he says.
So in that vein, did you see that Syria has offered to open its airspace to Israel for use?
No.
I just came across it and I'm like, oh, so Israel supports Al-Qaeda. I totally forgot about that. Because the leader of
in partnership with the United States,
traded in a turban and a exploding vest for a suit, right? And Trump said he looked really sharp or something. And he's the guy dancing in the streets after 9/11, had a $10 million bounty on him by the United States of America, and is now opening his airspace to Israel because war. I don't know.
War is the health of the state.
Silly, man.
Yeah. So, I just wanted to point that out. We paused because he's like, oh, nothing happened. Everything was all hunky-dory. No, Israel was attacking its neighbors even before the Iranian Revolution in 1979.
And who was it? Not Begin. It was like a terrorist, literally a terrorist during the creation of the nation state. Like, come on, people. Who was it that got assassinated for actually almost coming out of the accords with Yasser Arafat and the PLO, right? It's like, oh yeah, he got okay. Put Bibi in, he'll set it straight. It's like, come on, man, you just can't make this up. And PBD is swept up in it. Look, I think you and I just think there's just a right side and a wrong side to conflict in general, and how it should be, and when it is fair, when it is even in any way just or moral. And these people aren't on that side.
No, Okay. Yeah, I will say that the people in support of this just seem to be, they're either like, oh yeah, everything America does is great, or everything Israel does is great. And that's just stupid. I'm sorry.
It's false.
And then there are people that can have some nuance and be like, well, yeah, that side's not doing well, but that other side is doing this. And maybe there's a reason that they're upset and we can talk about it. And I don't think there is a right or a wrong side here. I think there are several wrong sides.
Nuance. Context changes the content. We can look at every little thing, work our way back,
Yeah.
but we got to work forward together somehow. We got to make this work.
Yeah, and we could probably go back before 1953 when that coup happened and figure out some shit that happened that was the United States didn't do good, or the Iran didn't do good, or whatever. But, at some point we got to stop escalating. Let's take it down a notch.
Like Ross.
Yeah.
Just all right.
Take it down.
Shall I continue, sir?
Yeah, let's continue.
All right. Let me know if you need to pause again.
9, when the mullahs, the Hezbollahs, the IRGC, all these guys, the Khomeinis, all of them took over. Why has there been chaos in the Middle East in 79? Whose fault is that? America's been consistent. Yes, I know America wanted the oil from Iran. And yes, I know UK wanted it, and MI6 and CIA and all this stuff. And yes, I also am aware that the Shah didn't trust Israel. The Shah didn't trust, what they were doing with media and finance and the ambition and the level and the control and the influence and all that stuff. He knew what was going on there. He wanted to compete with them. He didn't see himself as a victim. He's like, we're going to be doing the same thing. And they're like, wait a minute, this guy's too ambitious and he thinks he can go up against all of us. Let's take this guy out. We need chaos in the Middle East. Oh, shit. Even Israel being involved, let's just say for Iran and the Shah fallen, there is chaos now in the Middle East. On who, though? Who did that? So, yeah, for me, the most consistent thing behind the chaos in the Middle East has been Iran. That's just the reality of it.
What do you think, Mark? I'll let you go first. The most consistent thing behind the scenes in the chaos in the Middle East has been Iran.
The reason they're over here is because we're over there. I think there's a term, I think the CIA called it blowback. No, man. We've
channeling.
Channeling the great Ron Paul, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. Why is Israel parked so close to our military bases, Jason? I mean, come on. What is up with them? How dare they?
I know. Why would you put your country so close to all these American bases?
Yeah.
Russia has the same problem. Why did they put their country right next to all our military bases and bioweapons labs?
And NATO, and which was really for World War II and the creation of the Soviet Union, which hasn't existed since 1991 officially.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I usually like Patrick Bet-David. He's good on a lot of stuff. But in this case, the most consistent thing is not Iran. Iran has been overthrown a couple of times, 1953, 1979. They've been a more secular, liberalized regime. They've been now what they are as an Islamic state. But they are not the consistent part of this. The consistent part of this is like what you said. We're over there. We're interfering. The United States, I don't even want to say we, the United States government has been interfering in the Middle East since, well, even before the creation of Israel. But they're arming terrorists. They create these terrorist groups to fight another terrorist group, and then that group gets in power, and then they hate that group, and so they arm another one, and then we get involved in wars. And for what? Like, this is not getting better.
Any of our audience, feel free to jump in the chat. Jason, I have the same question to you. Share Williams.
William says, I'm anti-war. Does this mean I'm un-American? Well, if by America you mean...
If by an American you mean a patriot, then no. But if you mean un-American like a good person who belongs to the nation, then yes. So
if by America you mean the nation, the country, the United States government, yeah, you're incredibly un-American if you're anti-war. That's all they do. We've been in wars since what? I don't know when the last break was. It's been my entire lifetime, probably yours too.
Yeah, we've had conflict, but Okay, anyone out there, once again, in the chat, and I asked this question to you. At some point, does anyone think that Zelensky will not be made to be taken out, forced to be taken out? If he doesn't step down or something doesn't happen to him first?
I don't know
Noriega?
how that's going to end. That's going to be
Right.
wild to see.
Right. And just think about that. Every, and I will say it's like literally an absolute in this case. Every person that we have put in power has gotten that taste. Hell, we put Castro technically in power. We put Noriega in power, and then we got Panama, right? And then we had this, and then we had that, and then we put this guy in power. Then we took this guy out, and then we lost the Brazil guy, but then we got the other guy back. But then we had the Venezuela guy, shit, we had the bomb out of them because, that whole thing that we couldn't have that guy win. And then, the story goes on and on.
Yeah. The lesson should be stop intervening, stop getting in the way. Because Iran before 1953, maybe they weren't the best partners, but they were probably all right. And the United States says, no, you're not nationalizing your oil supply. We need that.
It's great. This is awesome. I love this. But we'll
Why
talk
is
about
Trump acting like Lincoln? And why is Israel his Russia?
I put
That's
a post
so great,
up
man.
today. Yeah, I put a post up today on the Boomer Social Network, and that sparked a debate that I hope that thing I told you about. I think we should do, man. I really do think we could do it. But basically, I said Israel or Russia. They both had an unprovoked attack on a sovereign nation. And
yes,
dude, it's got, I put it on this morning. It's got like 50. I'm nobody. Once again, everybody, I'm a nobody. It has like 50 comments on it already. So it definitely sparked some debate.
Yeah. So there's a problem. Yeah, we might be getting dragged into World War III. We'll see what happens. I don't know. But on the Lincoln comment, yeah, I also posted something like if Trump drags us into World War III, he's easily moving into the top 3 worst presidents, knocking out FDR. Lincoln and Woodrow Wilson are 1A and 1B. It's hard to say which one's worse.
It's crazy, man. And the only reason I can say 13's worse is really what it did. Come on. The Fed funded the Great War the next year, and that led to the Second Great War. That's where we're in this cycle, right? Also,
and Lincoln did all the same things, but they eventually got repealed, so it just wasn't quite as lasting. Wilson,
yeah, good point,
got it in permanently.
Yeah, he did get in permanently, right? Codified 2 amendments, 16th with the income tax, 17th with direct election of senators instead of state appointment. So,
and Lincoln also
really
killed
bad.
hundreds of thousands of his own countrymen in the Civil War. So,
yep, yeah, lots of stuff. Look, context, guys. Once again, what built this great nation allows us to look back at this with a healthy lens so we can be the example to the world of greatness. We can be the example of greatness and not be the example of the thing we say. Like we become Nietzsche. We become the monster that into the abyss that we look, right? Something like that.
Yeah. Well,
and I may or may not be 250 milligrams in. Just everybody.
Oh, that's what it is. That's why
it's been a long day.
A little squinty. Okay.
No, it's bright in here too, guys. For real.
Hey, well, maybe let's hear from our boy Scott Horton, because we got a few clips of him. He went on News Nation. He got harassed by one of these boomer cons. Very much put him in his place. I don't know how much we'll see of that, but some of the key details I pulled out in these clips.
This one, correct?
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's start with the great Scott Horton, whom I met at Freedom Fest, and I will share that story later.
Yeah.
Scott Horton, editorial director of antiwar.com. Scott, appreciate you doing this. Do you think Israel has the right to do this and to defend itself? Or do you think that this is just a bad idea?
Well, yeah, 2 separate questions. The way you framed it was launching an aggressive war is defending itself, but that's just because you say it that way. In any other contest, of course, is completely illegal. This is what Japan did to us at Pearl Harbor, the day of infamy, a surprise sneak attack against a country that wasn't attacking them. And so that was what was going on here. And the fact is, They were in the middle of negotiation.
I just, yeah, to cut it off before we get into the negotiation part, just that whole framing of the question. Do you think Israel has a right to defend itself, or is this just a bad idea? Like just already assuming that this is defending itself. And Scott correctly calls him out and says this is an aggressive act. Just because someone may or may not, and no one else has confirmed that they were developing weapons. They knew how, but they weren't doing it. Just because of that, that doesn't mean you can go blow them up. Or you're muted there. God damn it, Mark.
Should have taken 249.
Get your shit together.
Look, this is how they manufacture consent, everybody. We did the media thing. It's one of our earlier ones. Please, first of all, thank you to everyone joining us, okay? We're so grateful that you're joining us on another If by Whiskey. We're gaining a lot of traction. We're so grateful because you've joined us. You're active in the chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so that all said, I lost my train of thought. Gosh darn it. That's a shame. Anyway.
So
We're talking about wait, hold on. What were we talking about? Give it to me again, real quick.
He's saying the framing of the question is should Israel
manufacturing consent. Okay, right, exactly. The way he frames it, remember, it's not about right or wrong. They set the range to debate within. And Scott, once again, reading directly through it, breaks through it. So let me give you an example, right? Here's a great one. Someone comes in, we need to send 50,000 troops into Iran immediately. We have to storm the beach, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, that's a ridiculous thing. We need to only send 25,000. 50,000 is just absolutely insane. We can't have that much strength there or whatever. Well, now you set, you know what I mean? You said like, well, it's not zero anymore. It's not zero anymore, right? So this is how they mess with your brain, guys. The deprogramming is hard. You do have a couple glitches in the matrix. It schisms, but you heal. I swear you heal. You deprogram. You meet great friends like Jason, Zach, William, Thane down there. We got Justin coming on. We don't even agree on everything. So anyway, back to you, sir.
Yeah, just that frame. It's like, should Israel kill 20,000 Iranians or 50,000 Iranians?
Right.
Those are your only two options.
Exactly. And it's silly.
Yeah. So we can keep going. I really wanted to just share that.
No,
just the question
absolutely.
to start off. The very first question was just ludicrous.
Yeah, it's silly. Do you want me to continue the next Scott Horton clip, sir?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right. Now I'm looking for it. Oh, there it went. It moved to the top.
Scotty
right.
doesn't know. You met Scott, right? Tell me
did.
about that before we start.
Yeah.
Tell the story.
So before we continue this, we'll keep Scott up because Scott's a handsome man. So I'll start this. Last year was my first ever trip to Freedom Fest. It was in Vegas, and I absolutely complete nobody, like didn't know anybody, anything, had whatever, all this stuff. I didn't know anybody. I went alone. All the crew, like the camera crew behind the stuff, we all like totally mingled, hung out and stuff. But like any of the other people, I did a lot of podcasts. I talked to Michael Schellenberg. I had so many I got to meet some amazing people, but I didn't feel like part of it. I felt very gate kept, to be completely honest. And from a libertarian perspective, we're generally disagreeable. I get that. Like they see who's this new kid in town, right? Like I'm all eager to talk about the thing. And one of the favorite cartoons is, you got this kid. He's like, oh, we're going to go against the deep state, right? And the guy's like, hey, listen here, kid, just because you and I are against the state doesn't mean we're not enemies. And that's how we are. And it's our beauty. It's our beauty. And it's also a little bit of our curse, right? A little bit. So this year, I got to be honest, like I went home for a bit. So I got pre-pressed, which is pre-depressed going
pre-game.
Going into Freedom Fest, but like
I like to pre-game my depression as well. It's a good time.
Oh, what happened?
I said I like to pre-game my depression as well.
Exactly. Like if you plan it well, you can weather it a little better. Or at least like pulling a pressure valve, right? So I gotta admit, I was like a little less than 100% enthused to go because I knew you weren't going to go, and I know like I still didn't know anybody technically, right? But I was going to look for Mike Decentralized and Free, freedomuncut.com and all that. By the way, awesome show. Are You Smarter Than a Politician? Really awesome. Shout out to Township Libertarian, Sonia Agora, all those people. Anyway, so I got there, and the first, like, I walk around the booth and I see Michelle. I'm going to dox her. Her last name's Coleman. Her husband's Adam Coleman. Okay. Wrong speak. He speaks about racial things, about being a father. I don't know if you saw my tweet between him and him, but basically he's like, oh, your dad's German. I'm like, yeah, he's German. Anyway, so I saw her like literally the first booth. So it was like, oh my gosh, Michelle, huge hug. Oh my gosh, how are your trips? So you talked about her trip to Turkey and it was amazing and all this beautiful stuff. And then I walked just around a little bit and Scott was already setting up. He was sitting and I made a beeline and I just like gushed, dude. I like almost literally threw up all over him. And I'm like, oh my God, Scott, look, regardless, this is just your mind. I just thank you, admire you for all this stuff. So he says, no, it's cool, man. Totally cool. So then I'll fast forward I'll share just the Scott Horton story because it's great. So later that night, they're up at the bar. It's Sonia, Scott, Keith Knight, and a gentleman named Austin. And it turns out to be Austin Paget. I'll share that story later.
Peterson.
Austin, it was Paget, and we'll share that story later. But I'm like, hey, let me buy them. Let me buy them around. So they ripped the receipt out of the hand. He's like, no, man, you have to. I'm like, look, thank you. It's the least I can do. A drink. I think I can handle a drink. So then they invited my girlfriend and I to sit with them. Then we went outside to share in some stuff. He said this, I like my stuff to smell like it. I don't like it smelling like bubble gum. Let's go. So then just saying. So we did, that was fun. And then Scott is amazing. And Scott he dials in, but as the night went longer and longer, the narrow focus got deeper and deeper. And then literally he like smacks into a wall at 800 miles an hour. He darts up and he goes, I'm out, turns around and just marches and storms off. And like people were kind of jokingly like making fun of like, it was just fun. But then Sonia was there and her husband showed up. I don't want to say his name because I'm not sure if he's a personality. So apologize if I don't say everyone's name. I can only say some names that I know are part of it. And so, you know what I mean? I'm trying to be sensitive. So, cause I'm still new. So it was awesome. But
yeah, that's cool,
and
man.
then he signed the book. I have to share it. Let me share the Provoke book. Look, it took me extra 4 gallons of gas just to lug this thing from Phoenix, to drive it from Phoenix to Palm Springs. But I don't know if you can read it, but it reads, Scott Horton is backwards, but it reads Mark 4-piece Scott Horton. So
wait, that doesn't say Scott Horton. That says
Scott. Yeah,
Scottie Pippen.
So thank you, Scott. It was an honor, and I'll share something a little later in the whole thing. But thank you again. I'm so grateful. But really, the greatest experience. It was, first of all, I underestimated it, which I certainly should not have done, but I didn't let that deter me. I was still going to, you know what I mean? I was still going to give it everything regardless of how I felt going in. So this is all I can tell people is like, even if you're not feeling it, sometimes you just have to go. You just go. It's not just because you're not feeling it that moment. That doesn't mean, let me tell you, it was such an amazing experience. Everyone was so welcoming at the end of this. I actually feel like a part of this real amazing community. I really do. And thank you to everyone who was kind and took pictures with me. Steve Forbes, Michael Malice of all people. It was pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's funny.
That's cool.
I got to see Michael Malice and I literally shook his hand. I said, what has been your favorite part of this book signing? So, just thought that was cute. He laughed.
That's great.
He got it. So anyway, back to you, sir.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've run into Scott a few times. He's cool, man. I don't know if it's just me though, because I'm a giant, but he's a little guy. He's small.
Dude, he and I are about the same size, man. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, but he's also like scrawny too. So he just he's a small, like you wouldn't expect because he's such a like a force, but he's
such a salty guy, man. He doesn't take
Yeah.
crap from nobody. And it's like, so it's funny. I'm gonna put a shout out to Major Mitt on X and his, I want to say, I'll say partner because I'm not 100% sure what, but well, no, I'm not gonna say her name, but Major Mitt's on X. He and Scott Horton, the only two born libertarians I think I've ever met.
The only two what libertarians?
Born. They're naturally born libertarians. Like our good friend Buds, right? Buds in Reality. Sean Collins always says, no one's born a libertarian. You become one.
Yeah.
And that's most of us. Scott and Mitt, totally born libertarians.
Yeah. But man, yeah, he can hold a crowd. He can captivate the audience. And you see why. You see why he's on TV. You see why he's on all these shows now. He deserves it, man. So let's keep it going, I think.
Yep.
Get into more
and one
Scott
more,
Horton.
if I may. I know that Joe Rogan gets upset because when people like promote person to go on their show, but he's had Dave Smith, who's literally Scott Horton's best friend, for how many episodes now?
Get Scott on the show, Joe. As if he's going to hear this.
I'll read it aloud to Joe if I need to. I'll fly to Austin, take all the time it needs, and I'll read it from the rooftop. I'll sing it up to. I'll hang at Mitzi's bar with him, and just read it to him while wherever he'd like.
Well, hey, maybe with this war kicking off, there'll be a good reason for him to reach out.
True. So anyway, sorry to ruin your chances, Scott, but we got to promote you because we really do love you, buddy. So I'm gonna hit play. So are you ready?
Yeah. Go ahead. We're continuing the conversation.
It was Israel that was attacked on October 7th by an Iranian proxy and by Hezbollah. It was also Israel that was attacked by Iran. It was also U.S. troops that were attacked by Iran. Nevertheless, who in their right mind would allow someone, a regime that runs around chanting death to America, death to Israel, or if someone was running around chanting death to Scott Horton, would you want them to have a nuclear bomb?
This is what I was talking about, man. This is the level of argument that you get. It's like, no, of course, I would prefer nobody had a nuclear bomb, but they do.
It's like heavy sigh, man.
Yeah,
heavy sigh. Like
heavy sigh.
How you? It's got to be a rhetorical question, right? Like, do we want aggression? No. I know how aggression happens. You either have people who aggress or people who respond to people aggressing on them. Those are the two people. And if I were a betting man, I'd bet on the United States and Israel being the aggressor and Iran being the responder to said aggression.
Yeah. And you can go back and forth through history and say, who's really the aggressor here? Who's the victim? I don't think there are good guys and bad guys within the government.
Look, these are nation states battling it out, right?
They're all bad guys. They're two theocracies battling it out. The Jewish state versus the Muslim state.
But the problem really is this. This is the problem. It's America. I am sick and tired of this. I'm done. You know, I saw Charlie Kirk say something like, if an 18-year-old says a boy says he's a girl, then he's mentally challenged or has a mental deficient, whatever. And I'm like, if you cheer to send our 18-year-old men and women to die for Israel, you have a mental disorder too. And don't think that Charlie Kirk's not on that side. As nice and kind of a person as he is, and his general core values are probably very solid and aligned with mine. Don't think that he's not willing to use your children as cannon fodder in the next few years. If we even get to 2 years because of any nuclear option that, you know.
Yeah. And if Israel and Iran want to battle it out, go ahead. Go do it. Don't use my shit to pay for it. Don't get me involved. I don't want this. I don't want it, you know? And this is one of my biggest problems with the state in general, is that when you set up a structure where people can do this kind of thing, the people that want to do this kind of thing will do everything they can to get in that position. They will do what they can to take over, to get the power, to get in charge of these regimes who have the power to make war, who have the power to send your children off to die, to have the power to nuke an entire city off the face of the earth. Those people that want to do that will inevitably get into those positions because they want it. Normal people don't want that. I'd never, if you ever see me running for office, go ahead and assassinate me because I've gone rogue. Like, I do not want that ever.
I was going to run in 22 for Congress before the deprogramming really took hold. And if I may, a Freedom Fest story exactly to your point. Clint Russell, Liberty Lock Pod, Angela McCardle, and Brett Weinstein were on a panel about coalitions or, coalition making, which let's be honest, there was a lot of coalition making going on with the Libertarian Party this year.
Mm-hmm.
They specifically talked about what you just said. Can you reiterate the last point that you made?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, can you reiterate the last point that you made about that?
Oh, I forgot. But on the topic of Angela, she's been out there like touting her wins, saying, "Oh, we got this Trump in office, and now that this is happening, this is her legacy." And that's not something I want to be involved with. That's why I'm out of the party. I did not
Yes.
like the way she approached it.
Yes. And that's why, this is the part about it. Brett Weinstein said this. He's like, he goes, "I'm actually on your side, guys." Brett Weinstein has logically, reasonably looked at this stuff. And even though he's sympathetic and all this stuff, he does think the libertarians have a right. And he goes, the problem is we don't want the power because we hate power. And that's the point is, if we had the power, we'd know we use it. That's why we know we don't want anyone to have it, because we would get corrupted too. That's kind of the point. And that is the largest challenge of anyone, big L, little L, not real libertarian, all of us, is that power disgusts us in that way, because it's not governance anymore. It becomes tyranny. It really does become tyranny.
Yeah, man. I was just talking to my neighbor about an HOA meeting.
Oh, God.
I didn't go, but he did. And he was telling me about it. And I'm just like, oh my God, listening to all these Karens out there. Like, why did you put this kind of plant on that corner? And seriously, the people that like this shit will get in those positions though. So even at the low level of an HOA, you're going to have this where the people that want it, the people that are ready to go bitch and moan about every stupid thing are going to get in there and get their voices heard. And the people that are disgusted by that, like you and me, are not, if we don't get involved. So I guess I can't tell anybody not to ever get involved and try, because we need somebody pushing back against that stuff.
100%. We really do. Would you like me to continue, sir?
Let's continue. Yeah, now I'm riled up.
I know, I love it. I can't wait. We got another hour rallying up for you, man, so I can talk you off the ledge. I love it.
All right.
You ready, sir?
Go.
All right.
Well, the thing of it is, as I'm sure you must know, as the CIA and the rest of the intelligence community concluded back in 2007, Iran stopped even researching into how to make a nuclear bomb after George Bush got rid of Saddam Hussein for them. They had no more need for a nuclear weapon at that time. They opened up their books, and everyone watching this knows that Netanyahu has said they're a few weeks away from a bomb for the last 20 years. They still don't have a single one. And in February, the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, put out the threat assessment, the annual threat assessment. Everyone can read it at dni.gov. And it says that they have not made the decision to begin to pursue a nuclear weapon.
You don't think that the Israelis have better intelligence? Come on.
No. Look, there's nothing saying that late Israeli claims of recent advancement are true. No one else is confirming that at all. In fact, what they had all along, Leland, was a latent nuclear deterrent. It's the same as Germany or Japan or Brazil, where they had shown that they had perfected the fuel cycle. They know how to make nuclear weapons fuel, but they're not making it. And so
there you go. I mean, if we believe Scott, which I do generally, the Iranians were not making bombs. And he brings his sources. So in this short clip, we can't go through all the sources, but when you go read his work, you go look at all the articles and the books that he's written, he brings it, he backs it up. So I trust I trust this statement that Iran was not developing a bomb. They could if they wanted to, and that's a little scary. I get it. But they weren't, according to everyone involved. The United States intelligence, Israel says they are, but of course, why do we believe them? They have beef with Iran already. I don't believe it. I don't believe that intelligence that said we need to go do this now, or else they're going to have a bomb tomorrow, and then Israel's off the face of the planet, and then they'll bomb New York or DC or whatever. Well, go ahead and bomb DC. You'll be doing us all a favor. But leave the rest of us alone, please.
Whoa, my parents are in Philly. Oh wait, never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I'm kidding. Happy Father's Day, Dad.
It's far
You
enough.
had another one. You're good.
They got another one.
My dad got to another one. He's good. He got to.
Oh, okay.
I love you guys. No, I don't want to see anyone get hurt.
Yeah.
If I may, there is a director named Alex Gibney, Gibney, Alex Gibney, and he's done a ton of like good documentaries, really good ones. One I did a podcast review on with my co-host way back in the day was called 0 Days. It was about the cylinders and the centrifuges that they were using in Iran to make the the uranium, but it was 31, not 30, whatever, they go through the whole technical stuff of it. They go through how they obtained it all. And then they go through the virus and who implemented it. And that virus is out in the world and how scary that virus is. It is super scary that it's even out there. And we have one country to thank for that. I'm going to let everyone just sit on that one and guess. But do you mind sharing?
I'll give you 3 guesses.
Comment? I don't know. No. I heard it was a Middle East country. I don't know which one it was, but it definitely was one of those Middle East countries.
I thought you were doing Alex Jones for a second.
That was my Bambino. It's horrible.
Yeah. No,
I didn't have a gun to my head. I should have been like this. Look at
just off camera. It's right there.
Yeah, it's like literally, it's like this, just like that. You just barely see the barrel.
They're like, oops.
It's like the shadow of it, like it's against the wall or something.
Yeah. God, our government's a mess. I want to shut it down. Can we just turn it off?
I want to opt
and never turn it back on again.
I'd like to opt out.
I would love to opt out. Yeah. All you people that want to have your daddy government taking care of you, go ahead. I would like to opt out.
I do not. I can't do that. What I
cannot confirm or deny.
I think I can speak to everyone when anyone who can send others to conflict must volunteer. That's just very simple. They must. Because look, the only way to be truly sell your convictions is to be on the front line. I mean, I can't follow leaders who won't lead.
I had a thought today. It's probably not that great, but let's say we accept a leader. Let's say we accept a state. So given that we have one,
it's life.
If they decide we must go to war, that leader must sacrifice themselves. They must end their life to start the war. What do you think about that?
Like a tribute, or like the snuffing thing for the
it's
guys
so important
to
them. Yeah, it's so important to them and to everyone that they are willing
die in the sword.
To die by their own sword to prove it.
Well, let's put it this way. How about this? We can put a law in as that if that doesn't happen, then there is no mandatory service.
Of course, yeah. No,
you know what I mean? We don't have, he is not forced to do anything. He's not forced to, or she, they, it, them, whatever, whatever. They're not forced to do anything. But if they don't do that, then the law doesn't allow them to force to make mandatory war or conflict.
Yeah. But anyway,
I think it actually has to be the first three, the top three people.
Yeah.
Because the fourth one might get the idea.
Anyway, probably a stupid idea, but let's get back to the topic. Let's say, okay, Iran, they're going to develop a bomb. At what point would you say it's actually legitimate, it's actually justifiable to go in and do a preemptive strike to take out their weapons capability? Do you think there's any point where that's realistically acceptable?
I'm going to say no. Because look, we haven't done it to North Korea. Why? Probably because they can use theirs. So the second it truly is unfortunate. The reality of it seems that way. That it's that way. We use them. I mean, how literally can we justify? It's just silly. I'd like to know your thoughts, though, please, sir.
Yeah, I'm really torn on this because, let's take it down to a lower level. Let's say your neighbor says, I don't like that Mark guy. His skin color is a little bit different. He worships a different God. He shouts crazy things that I don't understand. He makes these crazy yells every time he leaves his house. I don't like it. And I know, you know what? Actually, I myself, I have several weapons. I have a machine gun. I've actually got a rocket launcher in my house. I'm stacked up, but this is defensive. This is for self-defense. But I know that guy, Mark, across the street. I know he is building his own machine gun. I know he's building his own rocket launcher, and I just don't trust that guy. So is there any point at which that neighbor of yours can say, yeah, I'm taking Mark out. He just cannot be trusted with this weapon?
No, I still say no, and I don't want to assume what you meant, but basically, like, this isn't a religious conflict. I really don't think it's a skin color thing. I really think it's a geopolitical conflict. It is like, the forces want the greater Israel project, in my opinion. And
I do want to clarify that. I don't think it is, but there are a lot of people who are just like, well, they're Islam. They hate America. They chant to America. So that's
100%. And I want to absolutely, I totally understand that that's what you meant. And that's why I didn't want to speak, put words in your mouth in that way. But there's no way. What you do is you knock on your neighbor's door and you go, we're a pretty formidable force. We could help protect the neighborhood together, and we could work together, and maybe we could offer our services, and we could get a couple of eggs from down the street, and we get maybe chicken here and there. We probably could work together. Maybe we start a business together. I mean, I'm just saying, before 1948, to think that Christians, Muslims, and Jewish people in the same exact area that didn't have lines drawn around them weren't actually getting along seems kind of silly to me. Just kind of seems silly.
Yeah. So I can imagine a scenario where I would do that. If that person was actually doing something, like, let's say they were a pedophile and they were messing with kids in the neighborhood.
I would probably kill a motherfucker. I would. If I saw it in the window or something and it was clearly a child, I would probably kill somebody.
Yeah. So I can imagine that. But even then, what's my right,
Yeah. No, in that case,
and then I'm just going to do it. I'm not going to go.
Right.
I'm not going to go steal from other people to pay for it. I'm not going to go ask, hey, you guys down the street, this guy's a pedophile. You need to go risk your life to go kill him.
Right. No, I voluntarily give up my life, right, in prison, knowing that that's the greater good, that I protected a child in some way. I mean, that's kind of how we do it. It's like weird civil disobedience. I know I'm going to jail for this, but this is just, I can't. It's it's a line. It's a red line in a weird way.
Yeah. So I can imagine a scenario where someone is really so bad, but then just take care of it.
Good point.
We don't need to start a whole world war. I don't need to go get every neighborhood in the city and then the next city and everything else involved to go fight because this one guy is horrible.
I'm going to put this up. You want to share that very quickly? Because look, we have so many awesome people in the chat. They're so highly engaging. I've invited new people, and it's pretty amazing. You want to share that with the audience?
Zach says, do you fellas believe that due to recent events, this proves that moral relativist thought has delayed our culture's ability to ascertain reality from fiction? Yes, I do. And moral relativists, I understand as like kind of the people that are like, oh, all cultures are kind of the same, and yeah, they
my
have
feelings
little
are my
differences,
truth.
But yeah, this is my truth, your truth. Yeah.
And it can change like on a daily basis, right? That's kind of what we talk about.
Right.
Yeah, it has. But the thing is, I'm still of the opinion. Sorry, Zach. You know I love you as my friend, as my brother. I still think reason can make objective morality. I really do think it does. I think just because Christians came up with the ideas of liberty and freedom doesn't mean it's a Christian idea. I know that sounds crazy, but I actually don't conflate the two.
Yeah. So yeah, I definitely think that does cause a lot of people though to miss real things.
Yes.
And so I don't give
100.
Israel the benefit of the doubt. I don't give Iran the benefit of the doubt in this case. It's just there's bad people. There's very bad people on both sides.
On both sides. You might share another one.
And I'm not talking about no, never mind.
Well, do it in Trump. Do it in Trump. Come on, we'd love that.
No, I was gonna say something, but in the context, it didn't sound right, so I wasn't. Yeah, I'm skipping it.
Okay.
I don't. Otto 80110 says, I don't allot credence to the Death to America or Greater Israel because I haven't seen the former or read about the latter. So, I'm sure that there are people in Iran. I'm sure that there are leaders in Iran that do wish death on America. But again, why?
Yeah.
I think if they just met me, they'd be like, oh, you're cool.
Right. And if they met me, like, oh, your friend's cool.
Yeah.
So that was Thane, by the way. Thane, once again. So I'd like to share a story of Thane. We're gonna take a quick Freedom. Meanwhile, back at Freedom Fest, we're gonna do this. So we're running around, and it is Friday night. I think is that when Israel did what it did.
Yeah,
that's when it did.
Yeah, Friday.
Yeah. So saw a tweet, something from the great Dave Rubin, who was like,
"Oh yes,
the bastion of intelligence."
Dave Rubin, yes.
Yeah, but let me share right before Dave Rubin. Let me do this. So, Scott did some podcasts in the morning, earlier in the day. I think it was a long one, and they were asking him about what the next hot war is going to be, if it's going to be Iran, and he's like, "Man, nah, I don't think so." I'm going to try to do a Scott. "Man, nah, I don't think so. I think it's just going to be, just a little tit for tat, nothing crazy, right?" So the Israel thing happens. You could hear him on the other side of the exhibition hall. "Those motherfuckers did it, mother!" And you just like hear him blow up. I think Mike Decentralized has the best story about that. He was like right next to the action, right?
Hey,
so he had to
allegedly do. I need a quick intermission.
Yep.
Keep going.
So I will share this. So he so he's like, "You bastard." Blah, blah, blah. So he had to do a whole retraction video, and it was great. So here's a couple cool things. While Jason is out, Freedom Fest was amazing. I spoke with the likes of James Lindsay and Brett Weinstein and Clint Russell, Angela McCardle, Austin Padgett. Keith Knight was in the house. This corner, Mike Decentralized, Free. All these guys were in the house. It was amazing. I got pictures with Steve Forbes, and it was awesome. And once again, Mark Skousen. So thank you so much for putting that on. Valerie Durham, thank you so much. Congratulations, Valerie, to you and Ish. They were engaged by Dr. Cornel West. How awesome is that? It was so great. Got a picture with Cornel West. So it was a really good time. I'm going to put this stuff up. Let's see. So once again, Dave Rubin, they launched. So that was my Scott Horton story. So here's my Dave Rubin story, Jason. Dave Rubin posts a thing about the missiles coming back, and he goes, imagine if those were nuclear, how bad that would be. And you're like, isn't that kind of the point? Like that they're not? Isn't that kind of point that they're not? So I wrote F-tard, and I just tweeted that out. I was busy, everybody. It was a long day, tired. My apologies. Thane jumped on me. I credit Oscar Wilde, a true friend stabs you in the front. He's like, hey, do you think that's going to work, calling him that? And I said, thank you for keeping me honest. That was really overboard. So I really overstepped. I'm really trying to understand grace. And when we talk, the other thing that we'll bring up later, we're on the precipice of this thing. I really think that you and I are starting to spread the message to the right people in the right ways.
Yeah. But sometimes you got to give up on a specific person and just call them out. You're probably not going to reach Dave himself, but maybe other people will be like, oh shit. Okay.
And like I said, we're going to have one of those. Like, honestly, it was really pretty decent conversation.
Yeah, man. So yeah, where do we leave off with Scott?
We left off with Scott. This is Tim
He ended
Dillon's
up ripping
next.
that guy a new asshole. Sorry for my French, but he did on News Nation. And
watch that whole clip. It's 9 minutes, 10 seconds. Dave Smith has it on his. I reposted it probably or definitely liked it. So look for that. It is worth it. The thing when he did the Mao Zedong thing, and he's like 40 million, and the guy's like, I know 4 million died. He goes, did you say 4 million? And he just started laughing at him. He's like, 40 million. Like, dude, it's kind of the Kathy Newman moment for Scott Horton, I think, with Kathy Newman with Peterson. It kind of was a little bit of that.
Yeah. It just shows how like embarrassing those journalists are, the anchors anyway. I don't even want to call them journalists because they just sit on a show, they read the teleprompter, they say what they're told, they're puppets. But God, it's embarrassing if you're going to be in that position to not know anything. It's like, well, you don't want them to get a nuke because they're say death to America. It just come up with another argument. Like, okay, we're past that one. We're past it. Right. Yes, it'd be great if they didn't have a nuke. But let's get on to something else. Let's get on to real life here.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, it's just so funny is once again, Howard Bloom, we may have the honor, like I said, we might set up this other conversation we're talking about. And I really think I'm really interested in doing it. I think we really would enjoy that. But when I let Howard talk about it, it was fresh. It was kind of fresh. I think it was December or late October, November, somewhere in there after the 7th. And he wrote the Lucifer Principle, and he wrote the Muhammad Code. He wrote some amazing books. And he's like, all they want to do is kill us. And look, just take that. Okay, they do. So just by the inverse, so you have to kill them first, I guess. Like that's the only conclusion you could possibly have if your only thought, without any context, nuance, anything, is just they all just want to exterminate us, so we have to do it first. I don't buy it. It doesn't pass a smell test.
Yeah, like you got to ask why, right? At first, because I can imagine, if someone is just deranged and they really have said, and everyone says they just want to kill us. That's it. We're not doing anything else. That's our whole purpose in life. We want to go to Mark's house. We want to kill him. Then, okay, you might be justified to have some preemptive action there to protect yourself.
Well, the good news is we have property lines, which is way before the actual door of my house. So thank you.
So you could imagine though, but is that really the case?
Right.
Like, let's step down from 100% evil versus good, because that's never the case.
And could I ask a question about this? We look at Americans too, and we love our independence, but you see like neighbor wars and stuff. don't you think maybe all these years of this manufacturing of consent towards aggression the way we are, hell has actually exacerbated conflict between neighbors in addition to the divisiveness? Like they ramp up our, liberty, freedom, stand on my ground. I'd rather die on my feet than, live on my knees. F you, me or you, blah, blah, blah. And then the divisiveness comes in. It just keeps making it worse and worse. Any thoughts on that maybe?
I'm sorry, I was typing. What was the question?
Shit, you're asking a guy on 250 to remember a question. Could the aggressive culture, not aggressive, imperialist culture, whatever the culture of America that you and I grew up in, Vietnam, all that stuff, those eras, those generations, could that also exacerbate neighborly conflict between ourselves? Because we're acting like America would on other countries, and we're Americans, so you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Like if you've got one bad neighbor, then everyone's gonna just it creates conflict, right? And you've got a region full of like all bad neighbors. So it's I don't know, man. I just think there's no winning over there.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, it's kind of tough. So I'm ready for you, sir. Would you just like set this one up?
We'll set this up. So just to get some real perspective from someone who's probably never been there, a comedian. Because for some reason in 2025, comedians are making the most sense. So let's hear Tim Dillon's take on Iran versus Israel.
If I may, before he does, is we talk about these strengths that people have. Okay. Like Theo Vaughn, I'll be admittedly, I don't find him that funny, to be completely honest. It doesn't resonate with me. That's not, I'm sure he's extremely kind, super generous guy. I just don't resonate with that comedy, I guess. I don't know why. So he shares his heart, right? This is the problem. The people come back and all they do is attack comics about, well, what's the solution? You guys they don't understand. A comedian's job is to find the problems. That's where the comedy comes from. That's where the comedy is the fractures in the system. It's not for the solutions.
The flaws in the logic that everyone accepts.
Right. But you understand that they're problem finders. They're not problem solvers. I would never trust a comedian to solve any problem I have, financial, emotional, anything. Not all, pretty broken people as a whole, and they know that. Let's not kid ourselves. But the truth is, no, they're problem finders. So to ask for a comedian to not do what they actually can do is find real problems in things and the flaws, it's kind of silly. So
yeah. And it's always easier to criticize versus come up with solutions, But I'm not going to send Tim Dillon or Theo Vaughn or Joe Rogan over to the Middle East to try to negotiate a peace deal or anything. That's not what's happening here. But what they're good at is pointing out the flaws and the ridiculousness in the logic that gets us into these situations where we're accepting the fact that, we should just send tankers over. And we should go send our Air Force and we should go send our aircraft carriers over to the Middle East to help Israel just because they're our greatest ally. For what reason? I don't know. But that's what they tell us.
That's what we hear. So, Justin, we are going to get to that question at the bottom after we play the Tim thing and I have our comments. So please stay tuned for that because I just read through it. I just want to, we're trying to line things up. Thank you for joining us. Always better late than never. We welcome all viewpoints, everything. We had an earlier discussion about everything. So I'm going to hit Dylan and we're going to go, sir.
Israel is fighting a proxy war on behalf of the UK, just like Ukraine is on behalf of the Western Europe against Russia. We have
to
get
it right there. Israel is fighting a proxy war on behalf of the United Kingdom? Is that the most insane thing anyone's ever heard? Are people right now in the United Kingdom, is their biggest problem Iran? What is this woman speaking of? What is she talking about? What is anyone talking? Is Iran the reason that no one can afford a house? Is Iran the reason that there's fentanyl everywhere? Is Iran the reason that we've got political corruption? Is Russia the reason? Can you imagine knocking on the door of a double wide trailer and grabbing a person who is 5 months away from being homeless in our country and asking them their biggest problem? How do you think the word Iran is going to come up much? How do we get in this position? Well, Iran. When your insurance won't cover a knee operation and you have to go bankrupt to replace your hip, is your main concern that Iran be decapitated? This is the craziest shit I've ever heard in my life.
That breaks it down, right? Knocking on trailers is what they do, though. That they're out there. Not literally, of course, but they're getting the poor people who need jobs, who need some stable income. They're getting those people to go fight. And they're like, oh, okay, well, here's a job. One of the reasons why having a standing army is horseshit, why we shouldn't have one.
I heard a really interesting thing about the army and who they recruited. It was back in Vietnam, and it's got derogatory terms in it. I'll tell you offline. But it's Hicks, rhymes with that word and the really, really bad word, and not neocon. Let me just put it that way. Those are the three types of people that fight the wars for America. You are in a small town, a factory town, a mining town. Your primary supermarket is a Dollar General, Family Dollar, something like that. Yeah, your hospital's like 2-3 hours away. Anything you need done, anything real. And, you're struggling to get through. And somebody knocks on the door, is like, hey, you got a 17-year-old son. He's a young, strapping, good old boy. I hate to see him get black lung. How'd you like to see him, be a proud American? Be a proud American, He can do your family proud, and he can give back. And he can move up. He just has to do a couple things, Hard to say no when you look around and you're like, how else can I get out of here? How else can I get out of here? So I sympathize with all those people. Like, I'm finding the military not be so great, but I'm pretty sure most military service people and all military service people just for serving, thank you for that.
But that's the pitch, right? That's what they bring when they come. When they get the recruiters out there in the campuses of your high school, they're like, hey, come, you'll be an American hero. You'll be thanked by everyone. Everyone's going to thank you for your service. You're going to take out bad guys all over the world. You're going to be the best thing ever. You're going to be a soldier for the American United States military. And that's the pitch. And, oh, shit, well, I'm just a backwoods guy from nowhere. Hell yeah. And you're going to pay me way more than I could make anywhere in my town. Hell yeah.
Why they go, and you know why they go there, man? Because they have an IQ of like 88. So they at least know how to point the gun in the right direction. And those military bastards have a quota to meet. So they're not the ones on the front line. Let's not kid ourselves. Most recruiters are of fighting military age. And there's like, I'd rather be selling this thing than actually fighting this thing, don't you think? So I'm going to get my quota and get my people and get my good old boys from my neighborhood to do this for me. I'm sorry that that's how you think, but that's also reality. That's part of it.
Yeah. And I don't know if this is true. I think it's not, but I heard some rumors that like, oh, if you recruit some number of people, you get like you get some time off of your contract where you don't have to serve anymore. So
I've heard like watches and certain like metrics and things. But yeah. Look, a good recruiter. Remember what's that? End of Tomorrow, where Tom Cruise's character, the short guy. His character was like the PR guy, like a sales rep. Like he was like the sales rep pitching for the war on TV and stuff. It's kind of fun. So I want to share Justin once again. Justin, Look, thank you for joining. You rushed as early as you could to come over. Once again, we welcome all views. Would you like to share that, Jason, and share your thoughts on that?
Yeah, Justin says they have the military might to do so. He's talking about Israel. So we had a little conversation why I was typing and why I missed your question earlier. He was asking, could Israel take out, what was the question? The entire Middle East?
Something like that, yeah.
I can't find it anymore, but could they take out all their neighbors? Something like that, if they wanted to. And I said probably not. Well, if they really just wanted to wipe them completely off the face of the planet, they have some nukes, they probably could, but they don't. So they have the military might to do so, is what he says. And they would likely have the backing of America. Yes, that's true. Plus, they did it already in 1967. So what happened in 1967?
Did they?
I think you're referring to the 6-Day War, which we mentioned earlier. I think you were not here for that, right? But yeah, the 6-Day War, they launched preemptive strikes against Egypt, Syria, and Jordan, responding to some Arab troop movements, and Egypt closing the Straits of Tiran. And Israel captured the West Bank, the Gaza Strip, the Sinai Peninsula, the Golan Heights, in a very decisive victory. That's the notes that I have on that. So yeah, they could.
I will share this. Yep. Yes, you're correct. We're 100% reductionist. Dude, we're a podcast, bro. You know how we feel about the people who, like, we've been pretty clear about those people. And I'm glib when we talk about that, but look at the percentage of the people and look, I mean, I think the numbers are statistically, I don't see too many congressmen children. I don't see too many Harvard lawyers children entering the service. And I'm sorry, I just don't. They might enter OCS or something. They might, but I don't see too much of that. So yes, Justin, you are correct. Do you mind reading that, Jason, just so we
Donald Trump joined the service, right?
And he joined McDonald's too.
Yeah, Justin said, you guys are doing a major disservice to many of those who enter the military. They're not all rednecks with no options. Yeah, yes, I know that. I'm sorry if anyone's offended. I really don't mean that. Some people really do aspire to that. Yes. But I will say maybe all, or maybe almost all, have some delusion of you are serving your country. You are helping the people in your country. And that has not been the case for a very long time with the military.
And do people who feel like they can help other people the way they can serve, once again, that's a beautiful thing. The problem is America used that against them, right? Once again, they're weaponizing that. I
think with the way that the American military has been for the last century, you could legitimately say you serve your country better by working at McDonald's.
Yeah. And once again, you are correct. We are happy to accept that criticism from you, Justin. Because if
someone disagrees, I'm fine to hear it. I'm happy to have a discussion. But the people in charge of the military are not good people. And you are following orders when you're a soldier. And I'm sorry, I don't want to disrespect those people because I think they do believe they are doing something good. And in some cases, they might accidentally be doing something good. But the system is not set up for that.
And as always, Justin, thank you for keeping us honest as well. I love this. So this is a great thing. Justin jumped in on the comments on Facebook, and we have a slightly different thing. We have a lot of core values similar, like 99% of all of us probably agree on most things. And anyway, we're going back and forth, and I go, hey man, remember we're on 9 o'clock. You definitely can express yourself. We do. He goes, just when I'm trying to get out, you pull us back in. I'll be there. And it's like, thank you for coming again, Justin. But this, regardless of what we think and what we feel, we are happy to share that because of the exchange of ideas. We want to get better too. And you have taught us things too. So thank you for keeping us honest on that as well. So anyway, I got the Gavin guy up, but we'll wait for you, sir, as you're typing away there.
Yeah. I get caught up in these side conversations.
I know. I totally get it.
But yeah, man. So speaking of rulers, speaking of the people that are in charge, the other thing that we wanted to talk about today, I think we've got through Iran and Israel. I don't have a right answer there, by the way. I don't have a good outcome. I would like to not be involved, you know? And at some point you could say that, well, Iran's going to make sure we're involved no matter what. Maybe that's true. Okay. I don't think we're there yet. And I'm really not happy to see that the United States is getting involved. And it looks like we're going to be. I would expect airstrikes or something by tomorrow. But I don't want this, you know? I would rather not happen. But the rulers are the ones that are deciding this. Donald Trump is one of those people. Gavin Newsom, who you see on your screen now, is one of those people. Trump has been pushing a lot of things. Immigration issue has been hot. This is one of those things where you're on one side or another, I think. Like some people like 100% open immigration. If you're against immigrants in any way, that's it. You know, you're evil. And some people are completely opposite. Like, we want no immigration. If you let people in, you're ruining America, you're ruining the culture and all that. And there's got to be a middle ground, right? Gavin Newsom, California has been one of the worst places. They're a sanctuary state. They give sanctuary to people who don't need it, in my opinion. There's a lot of problems with the immigration system. And there's a lot of problems that happen because millions of immigrants come in. So there's a very nuanced thing here. But Trump and Newsom got in a fight because there were these protests we talked a little bit about last week. I'm slurring my words here. I got to slow down. But we talked about this last week, right? There were riots in LA because of the ICE raids and arresting people and sending people, deporting people out to other countries. Newsom was not happy about it. So he made some comments here about Trump and the ICE raids that I don't know if you have any other comments about. I don't know if you saw this while you were out.
Actually, I didn't. I heard it happen. I heard he's an American hero now, and I'm ready to vote for him in 2028, allegedly.
Yeah.
But, you know, I did want to add something to that.
Mm-hmm.
America have displaced the people that pour into our borders. That's might be a little bit of a warm take for many people, but 500,000 people were allowed in by Marco Rubio, Venezuelans, signed together with 2 Democrats. Why? Because that would destabilize Venezuela. That was years ago. Now he's saying, get the Venezuelans out. Or, you know, I want to get the Venezuelans out. Well, he's got something shoved up his butt or whatever, right? It's like these people just turn on a dime. They do not have conviction to these things. They, to your point, they will not die on their sword for any of these or you. They do not care because they're not allowed to care the way this is. It's not that's not how it works. It's not how it works.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. I'm sorry. So we're not burning things. We just need to go into this knowing we know these things. So that's why we talk decoupling. That's why silver is $30.50 or $36.50, guys. Pretty cool. Gold's over 3,400. I mean, not really cool. Remember we talked about 1913 earlier? Oh, it'd be great if the dollar, which was 100 cents, wasn't worth only 2.7 cents of its original 100 cents value right now because of printing for what? Wars and all the other entitlement type stuff, the Ponzi schemes and all the other things we do.
Mm-hmm.
That I give you Gavin Newsom.
What do you make of the president today coming out and saying he wants to protect California farm workers from deportation, given what you...
This is what he does. He creates a problem, and then he tries to be a hero in his own Marvel movie.
He's the government.
Did it on fill in a blank.
All right, can we pause?
On
Can we
almost
pause?
every topic.
Yeah,
Creates the problem, and then tries to.
You're You're gonna see a theme here. There's with the Iran-Israel stuff, it's the same thing. But oh God, as a side note, just Gavin Newsom, he's gonna like, I am the worst public speaker in the world, and I'm still finding fault with Gavin Newsom here. You gotta go ahead, Mark. Please take it away.
We might be safe, man. I might not be too worried. Oh man. All right. I'll continue.
Yeah, keep going.
Do a make-believe as if you're all perfect little sheep and you're going to go on with it to be the hero in his own Marvel movie. He initiated those raids. He significantly increased the scale and scope of those raids. That's why he wants the National Guard. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of guardsmen and women now being dispersed everywhere, sprinter vans, unmarked, people with masks, running in, rolling over, some case running into cars, 6-month-old kid, a 3-year-old child in the back of the car, left.
In the back of the car.
So, spare me, Mr. President, that he's sincere on that.
And the Fed is what enables these motherfuckers. And I don't care if anyone disagrees with my swearing on that. These are the worst people in the entire world. You're muted again.
We're going to talk about the person once again. Give me grace, everybody. Thank you. We talk about the person we'll have the conversation with, where not 100% misunderstanding, probably a little back and forth, but also much bigger conversation than the one we were initially starting. But this guy is trash. I see zero redeemable. I hear, okay, maybe he's come back to the center. Like he's now he's adopting the center. Okay, thanks. No, it's not that, Bill Maher. Thank you very much. But shall I continue? Or do we stop? Is he done? He's done. He's good. He stopped speaking.
He's done.
Thank God. I get him off the freaking
thank God. Yeah, 1 minute of Gavin Newsom is enough for a lifetime.
Yeah. It was 1 minute, 13 seconds. I will never get back. Plus the pause, plus me being stupid after.
But let me ask a fun hypothetical. You must vote 2028 Donald Trump versus Gavin Newsom.
I mean, but can we kind of agree? Can you at least do JD?
This is a would you rather. No. Trump's getting a third term. It's constitutionally protected.
Trump. It'd be Trump. I'd hate it, but I go Trump, and then I'd slit my wrist. I'd probably do I'd probably be like, Donald Trump. Like Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah, Gavin's normally like a decent
Trump.
Speaker. What's
that?
Gavin's normally a decent speaker, right? But in this case,
what is wrong with him now?
He like glitched out. He's like, "You're gonna have a kid in your car," and then
go chop, dude. He's gotten worse since his podcast. You thought he would get better, but like, I think it's actually softened his skills because of the what's going on. Hold on, I think I got it.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No. I approve it. It may be illegal, but live and let live. I don't care. No, and that's totally fine that he does that, and that Gavin does that too. Is totally fine by me. I don't care.
Yeah.
He's welcome to do it anyway.
Yeah.
But I love that you talk about a Marvel superhero, because actually that's like the next.
Oh yeah.
I'll set it up while you talk. Go ahead.
You're bringing me back to the point, which was, yes, he's kind of right in the way that Trump is creating a problem and then coming in pretending to solve it. But this is not unique. It's called government. The entirety. This is the whole government. This is everything. This is their purpose for existence. They create problems. They come in, pretend to help, pretend to solve it, make it worse, and then be like, whoa, well, now we have a new problem to solve. Look at that. Look how much you need us.
Absolutely, 100%. You want to read these two comments really quickly from Justin?
Yeah. Justin said, Gavin, is a joke, but he is a good speaker, and that will win over a lot of people. Yeah, normally he's a pretty good speaker. And I think he is glitching because he's trying to represent himself as having views that he doesn't.
Excellent.
Yeah, like I know he is against whatever Trump's doing because that's his reason for existing, is being against Trump. But yeah, I think he does believe in the immigration stuff. Like, he does believe people should have a right to move around and come to California if they want to. But I don't think he believes what he's saying about Trump, because he has to apply that to himself, which is what we're talking about. He'd have to apply that to himself. And when he thinks about that, he realizes, oh, crap, I'm full of it. I have nothing because I do the same thing. That is what government does. They create problems or they exacerbate them. And then they come in and say, hey, I'm the savior. Come pick me. I'm going to take you out of this. When we don't need them. We never needed them.
They accuse, it's once again politics. They accuse you of the thing they're doing. Gavin, that's all you are, is a problem. That somehow allows you to justify your existence, to solve yourself. Whatever. Like,
yeah.
It's funny. I looked 11 months ago. 11 months ago, I was at my first Freedom Fest. May I, before we continue with the Hulk for a second?
Mm-hmm.
So we're at Freedom Fest, and I'm just, like I said, how far I've come in just that 11 months. People, please listen open-mindedly. Look at past podcasts of Jason's on Drop the Mask. Look at podcasts of Knocked Conscious. Some of the other stuff we talked about. Dave Smith, go back a year, go back a year and a half. Watch these people talk in this way, and just you'll understand. It will start to make so much sense to you. So I want to share, if I may, at the Angela McArdle, Brett Weinstein, Clint Russell conversation about coalition. I met Austin Padgett, like I said, with Angela, and I'm going to let you guys look that stuff up. I'm not here to talk about this stuff, okay? But I looked it up and something came up. Now, during the talk, a very courageous woman, I won't name her name nor the organization, she stood up and she held up two signs. Did I share the picture with you, Jason?
No.
Okay. One sign read, extortion is theft, and the other one read, unfit to serve. That's all I'm going to tell you about what's on the signs, because once again, you and I aren't on a side here. This isn't our thing. Okay. Immediately, Angela McArdle, she does call for security. And from Angela's perspective, I understand we're respectful at this thing. That's a disturbance and infringement on our time, those things. So from Angela McArdle's perspective, everything's right. Totally understandable that she made that action. Okay. As they're waiting for security, I just want to applaud the people that how it was handled. Basically, the woman says, I haven't said anything. I'm standing in the back and I'm only holding these signs. And she said it super quiet, did not disturb anything. The conversation went on. She just held them. Someone comes in volunteer. I don't want to say who, because I'm just in case, I don't want to, if I'm on the wrong side of this or something, I don't want to implement them to be part of me, if that makes sense. So they talked to them for a little bit and then they walked out. But the woman stood there the whole time, 45 minutes, an hour, holding those signs. I would like to, first of all, understand Angela's point, first of all. But secondly, I also want to thank and applaud the people at Freedom Fest who allowed the young, brave woman to hold those signs up, because she wasn't in the way of anyone. She was not interfering, and she was expressing her right to express herself. I love that they did not ask her, that they did not take her out of the room. I really do. Really grateful. And what's funny is I tried to look for her after, but it's funny. I talked to her friend after, and she's like, I chickened out. So this other young woman was supposed to hold the other sign, and she chickened out. Guys, can we all say, ladies, gentlemen, can we all say we don't know until we're tested whether we would or wouldn't. So a little grace there. Let's not kid ourselves. So this young woman said, you know what? I may have chickened out too. So you don't lose points for chickening out, but that young woman who held those signs, she does get extra points. I will post the picture. It's a pretty amazing picture. Ovens took the picture. I'll say her first name. Ovens took the picture, and she shared it with me. She's really cool, amazing. Larry and Ovens, other media people at the event, super cool, super cool. Thank you for sharing your time and just like hanging while other stuff was going on. It was pretty cool. So anyway, I yield to you, sir, to set this up.
Yeah, the whole Angela thing's weird. I don't know, man. That's a topic for another day.
Yeah, like I said, I was only speaking on it from the the protest point of view.
She blocked me, by the way. She was asking for some help on funding something, and I mentioned I can't remember the name of the company that Austin Padgett runs.
I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to.
I was just like, oh, maybe that company can help out, and she blocked me.
Yeah, I did. I read an article. Yeah. So before we continue, once again, I'm trying my best to be objective because like I've got bigger fish to fry right now. Like, let's not kid ourselves. Like,
yeah, fuck the LP, man. I don't care.
Totally. And on that, but like literally, I met Austin with Sonia Agora, with Scott Horton. We're sitting there, like I said, what we were doing, and I didn't know. So I started giving my theory on the whole thing about the LP part, that night, the night that I watched online. And I asked I didn't know. And then he said something. And then I went upstairs. I typed in the name. That thing came up. An article came up. I left it up for Megsy when she got up to so she gets up in the morning. I'm like, I want to look at the computer. She's like, nice. I'm like, once again, I haven't said a word about it. I spoke with Angela because look, I am aligned with Angela right now to free Roger Ver because I watched Ross Ulbricht talk and he is free, god damn it. And I watched Lynn and I give her another hug and I got to take a picture with her this year instead of actually like not wanting to do that because it wasn't right. Till her son was.
There's at least one good thing that came out of the Trump presidency, and that's it.
And I will share the video about the coalition. And look, Angela, to her point, there was an instrument. It could have been the straw, but the straw does do it sometimes.
And I gotta say, I had some hope for Trump to do some good things. I didn't vote for him, but I was like, you know what? He's probably better than Kamala. He's talking some good game. He's saying we're not going to get into more wars. He's going to be good for the economy. He was decent for the economy last time. I know he used the interest rates to create a bubble, but things were going all right before COVID.
Yeah, and then warp speed.
But this time, he's been
the last
so
year,
disappointing.
2 weeks to stop the spread. Fauci, keeping Fauci.
Yeah, this year, it's only been 6 months since he was sworn in.
5.
God.
5.
5 months?
5.
It's been so disappointing.
150 days.
Turned
something like
my mild optimism into a complete catastrophe. I am not kidding when I say I'm moving him into my third worst president slot. He's knocked FDR out of the way. And depending how bad this conflict gets, he could be number one. We'll see. We'll see.
Does no one realize that all this time? Remember how we were criticizing Biden about the HIMARS systems and all the BS stuff in Ukraine? They're allowed to shoot 300 miles inside Russia now, everybody. Like, just no one, not a single peep about that. Did you hear a single peep about that, Jason? I don't know if you
did not.
Yeah, so they basically like doubled their range, right? It was like 150 first. Now it's 300. Oh, yeah, and then there's drones. Yeah, this is genius under him. Under him, it's done. So, look, you can talk about good guy, bad guy. There is a system that we all know is really pushing and driving everything, regardless of the good guy that's behind the wheel. Do I think Thomas Massey and Ron Paul as president and vice president, Rand Paul as president and vice president, could get shit done? No. I get that. First of all, they get killed, or their family members get killed, or they get threatened to get killed, or anything like that, and then they wouldn't get anything done anyway because they would just everything get they wouldn't get anything through.
And all that to say, there was a protest. So we set it up with Gavin Newsom because that was on the heels of, this is on the heels of the LA riots and everything. And Trump decided, hey, we're going to have a military parade, the Army's 250th anniversary. We're going to have a parade. In that backdrop, there were, everyone knows about this, right? There were protests around the country, even in Canada. And by the way, in Canada, it's hilarious. So these were called the No Kings Day protests. In Canada, I saw in Vancouver, they had No Kings in America. And in Toronto, they changed it to No Tyrants because, of course, Canada's sovereign is the King of England. So they can't say no. Can't
be anything of hypocritical because it's not like they'd invite like a 90-year-old actual Nazi to and applaud them in their parliament. Or anything.
Right. So fuck Canada and fuck Mark Ruffalo, who we're about to see.
Blame Canada.
So as much as I am against Trump and I hate everything he's doing in this term, I still don't like this. I still am not on their side.
All right, here's the Hulk.
I'm here because no matter how messy the founding fathers of this nation, how messy the founding fathers of this nation may have been, when we got one thing right. We wanted a nation for the people, by the people, that made each man, woman, and child equal, no matter what race or religion or anything else used to divide us as people. And that we would rule by the belief and trust in one another. That we didn't want to be ruled by a king or a monarch or a dictator or a supreme leader or some crappy ass CEO. That sucked. We hated that. That's why we came to America. We literally started a whole new country based on the simple idea of no kings.
So this is the Hulk himself speaking at the No Kings rally. We literally started a new country to not have a king, Mark. Don't you get it? Don't you get it?
While our representative last election cycle was brain dead before he was even elected, or at least brain dying before he was elected, brain dead certainly before he stepped down, didn't have a primary to actually have a democratically elected person for your side, just replace it with a person who was second in command, because God forbid you couldn't have a person of color who was a woman. You couldn't shove her to the side to, remove your actual core of three people and then actually like ran that person against the person who was very popular and actually did get the majority of the vote, certainly the electoral vote, and won all of the actual swing states.
Yep, exactly. You just summed up all my points.
We all got it straight.
So yeah, fuck, like I want to be on your side, dude. Like I really do. Because I hate everything about this administration. I hate everything about every administration. I don't want a president. I don't care that we call him a president. It is a king. It doesn't matter. It's a king. It's a dictator. It's a prime minister, whatever the fuck you want to call him. It doesn't matter. They're doing what they want. And that's never what the people want. People wanted no war. They wanted no more wars. No new wars. That was what Trump campaigned on, and we're getting into new wars.
Beyond
now, people did want immigration control, but I don't think they wanted to see moms pulled away from their kids, or kids pulled away from their moms, or the dads who run a business, they run a landscaping business or whatever, and they're just suddenly gone. Who cares?
100. And beyond no new wars is under his last administration. Didn't they say no new wars under Trump? Like it wasn't even just this one, right?
Yeah, they were celebrating that fact. He didn't start any new wars.
Right.
What
and
is he doing?
Some
And this is
track
what will
record.
always happen.
And like I know there's a lot of Trump fans, and look, the guy's really good at selling whatever message whoever wants to sell at the time, I guess. But remember that, oh, why are we bombing Yemen? Blah, 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 blah. And then he kind of does the right thing. He kind of does back off. But it's like, who's in his ear? Why is he so and literally dumb, guys? He is wholly uninformed. Ignorant is probably more accurate, that he's ignorant. And that is not necessarily ignorant, just means uninformed. But he doesn't know a lot of the nuance. He's like, he has some expert that he trusts or somebody that has his ear telling him what this port of this policy should be. Someone for the other tariffs are good. Oh, bombing Yemen is good. Oh, letting Al Qaeda take over Syria is good. So once again,
he can get information. That's not a problem. He has no principles. That's what I've always said, is he's just not a principled guy. He doesn't come at it from like, hey, war is wrong. It's just like, oh, what can I do as the leader to make me seem powerful and strong? What can I do as the United States is the best? Well, obviously we have to go control the Middle East. Obviously, we own all the oil over there. Obviously, we must go support Israel because they're our greatest ally. Why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we support our greatest ally? He has no principles. He doesn't know what it means. He doesn't care. He just wants to do what makes him look like a badass. That's all.
Yeah. And just so everybody knows, we're going to go slightly over 2 hours. I'm not rushing this thing. Okay. I'm not that we're going to go long or anything crazy, but just we're going to not be puckered here trying to rush to get off.
I'm sorry for my language here.
Nope.
So fucking done with Donald Trump. I cannot stand him. I hope he gets the John Wilkes Booth treatment in the Ford's Theater. I cannot stand the guy. I wish he was gone now.
That's a take. I support your right to say that. 100%. I'm not there yet, but it ain't looking good. I mean,
I do not want this war. I don't want any more wars. Fuck think that.
Yeah. My ultimate concern is this might be not a moot point very soon, right? I mean, honestly, we have literal 2-3 head-to-head nuclear, countries with nuclear capability. United States, at least, Russia, and we definitely have.
If anyone's gonna get us in a nuclear war, it's Donald Trump, and that is awful. That's the worst possible outcome.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I'm a Freedom Fest, and we're at the banquet dinner. My Megan and I, Megsy, she and I, we sit with a table of octogenarians, the most amazing older people you ever meet. But there are Freedom Fest people, and then there's like real Freedom Fest people. It's like you're not a real Freedom Fester. These were not real Freedom Festers. These were MAGA, whatever. But super kind people. First of all, they were all super nice, lovely people. Let's see. I met a Rita and a John and another John, a Mike, Tom, a Jolene, best name for songs. Anyway, so we're sitting there, and one of the women is, she says, "Wow, wasn't that parade amazing?" Blah blah blah. And I'm sitting here like as an anti-war dude, like, "Oh Jesus fucking Christ, I'm sorry." Blah, blah. Right. Anyway, so I'm trying to healthily criticize Lindsey Graham and Nikki Haley because we're talking about Boeing, the 787 going down, and I'm like, look, man, they had these cushy contracts, and then you got Lindsey Graham, and I'm like, crap, these are all like pro-military people, and I'm like, that's why they have this stuff in South Carolina, and that's why these people get elected, and that's why they push for those things they do, is because all, you know what I mean, like all that stuff, right? So the woman looks at me, because this is what's beautiful about the diversity of thought. She looks at me, she goes, and I didn't know what to make. She just gives me stink eye, right? And I go, what? And she goes, do you support Lindsey Graham? He's a war pig. And I'm like, wait a minute, you just supported war. The things are so contradictory in these, and I don't blame them because, like, let's be honest, the people that they're 70, 80 RV homes, super billionaires, they got Bitcoin, working the system as it existed gave them the life they have, right? So God forbid I take that from them. Like, you know what I mean? Like that, where is that my right? But to think that that was the way, you know what I mean, the right way to actually earn, possibly, and that's not to criticize them, it's the system, right, that we're working with it.
Yeah, I got real upset there.
Yeah, doesn't that just?
I'm trying to cool down. I'm trying to cool down,
dude.
But I hate this so much. I hate it.
You smell it. Yeah, America, we hate war because we've been through it. Trust the people who are it's not being their bullshit. It's like you have on this thing, opt for the more peaceful resolution because we have experienced war in a very negative way.
Yeah, there's no good outcomes from fighting Iran. It's just not going to be good.
So again, thank you everyone for joining us. We're 2 hours in. We're probably going to wind it down here soon, but we just probably have a couple more clips, Jason. So
I had one more from Mark Ruffalo just to finish off why they're out there in the streets talking about Trump. And like I said, I think I've made my feelings clear about Donald Trump, but I still cannot put myself on the same side as these guys because I know when they say no kings, they only mean that they don't want this king. They want their king. They want the ones that does the things they like. They want the ones that makes them feel all warm and fuzzy inside because they like immigrants and they like trans people and they like all the things that you're not supposed to not like. I just hate it. I hate all of it. I hate everyone. This is why I didn't go to Freedom Fest, because I fucking hate people. I'm sorry.
No, I get it. Well,
I love all those people. I love those people, but I still hate people so much that I just can't take it.
Before I play it, look, man, I'm grateful that you and I started this thing. I honestly feel like your message, our message, whatever it is resonating. People are waking. People are listening. They really are. And, you know, thank you to everyone who's here. It's crazy. It's crazy stuff. So I'll play this. We'll probably slowly wind it down and call it a day, sir.
It's that idea that brought most of us here, unless you're an American native or a Mexican, to this country. We built this country strictly on the no kings rule my country, my body, or my bank policy. That, and the
unless you're a white Christian male, then of course we have a right to rule you.
A dungeon, or a detention center, or a concentration camp, or some damn basement without a fair trial. We don't fuck with that. Sadly, today Donald Trump and the administration of billionaires, crackpots, and ice brigades have taken over. We have a king and his court and his beige henchmen, and they're trampling on our rights and our laws and our freedoms, making themselves richer with taxpayer dollars and making us less safe with their love of other kings and dictators and the likes of Putin and Netanyahu and Kim Jong-un of the world.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure the feds are on their way to my house, but we got to wrap this up. So I can't with these guys because I know, again, as much as I don't like the guy in office, they're perfectly happy with these exact same things happening when their guy is in office. They don't want these billionaires or these crappy CEOs taking over, but that is what happens. They get the bankers in these cabinet positions. They get all their buddies It's the billionaires. It's the people with money. It's the people with already existing power combining forces to rule over you. And that's what we're dealing with. And so that's why I'm not on board with your stupid No Kings protest, because I know you're perfectly happy with what happened in 2020. The COVID regime, locking people in their homes, telling people that their business is not essential, telling people they must inject themselves with a poison that is not tested, that has never been tested for safety, that will never be tested for safety, that was not even tested for stopping transmission of the damn disease that you guys think existed.
No, you don't understand. They were working at the speed of science to get it out.
Well, Dr.
They
Truth
didn't
Science,
test it.
I think they all probably still worship Dr. Fauci. So we know they like a king. They just don't want that king. It's just that one.
Before we call it, man, I hope you give me just a few minutes here. I do want to share how amazing, really how amazing Freedom Fest was, but it wasn't Freedom Fest, actually. There were 50 people of color, all like black families, African American families. I apologize. Whatever the people. They were people, everybody. And they all meet, this group of people, all family members meet every year for Father's Day somewhere. So we're at the bar Friday night. And late in the morning, I shut the bar down. I think I was there till 2 a.m., 3 a.m. talking. Surprise, surprise. And this whole group of guys come up. And young people, like young women, less than young women, older men, young men, whatever. Turns out this is whole Father's Day thing. I met these two guys. I'm not going to say their name, but this is a story I want to share. And this is where it drives me just insane. And I'm like, how do we change this? Okay. Guy sits down. He's sitting with us, group of us. He's a first responder. He's a frontline nurse at one of the biggest ones in California. I will not say just in case, because like if you know where he goes and where he came from, like people can do that doxy thing, and I'm not into that. So he was a nurse, blah, blah, blah. They wanted to make him get the shot. He's like, no. He fakes his records to get the shot, and he moves back to a very non-rich part of California to go to a really shitty hospital that like is his home, his hometown. So you can think of a lot of different names of these places. You'll probably say it during one of those times. You'll say it. You're thinking about these things. He goes there, so he didn't get the shot. And all he's doing is watching people die. This is early days with a ventilator. Early days. Remember, the ventilator killed everybody. Basically, just pumped it through your system. No one knew. Once again, whatever. They didn't know. Sure. Anyway, pump it through your system. He gets it. He gets really sick. He got the first bunch, but he got really sick. He ended up getting better. Anyway, he goes through his whole thing. The dude lost like cherry spot at one of the premier place to work, like to get out of there, because he knows he would have had to actually get that shot. He lies about it. And I'm like, so who do you think he voted for, Jason? Who do you think this guy voted for?
Well, I'm guessing it's not Ron Paul.
Right. Kamala. And you're just sitting there. I mean, we had a 2-hour super awesome dudes, and I wish I could say their names because I want to reach out. Like, I actually want to find a way to reach out, but it's like I gave them cards. Hopefully they'll reach out to me and we can actually share the story, maybe have them on, because that story is freaking amazing in my opinion. And maybe the statute of limitations run out because like they don't have that thing anymore. So anyway, but the thing to think, like, this guy is doing everything actually in his personal life to defy what Kamala Harris would do. And yet he voted Kamala Harris. Not criticism. I'm puzzled. Help me understand the human psyche is all I ask. That's all. Just like to your point.
I don't know. Well, my best understanding is that people just project what they want to see onto people. So a lot of people that support Donald Trump project that he is this great savior of America. He's America first. He's this. And whatever you believe America first is, people assign that belief to Donald Trump, and that's what they see. So it's the same way on the other side. People want to believe that we're good, compassionate people. We care about the plight of immigrants, and we understand that people come from different countries where they don't have opportunity, and they're really escaping horrible conditions. And that's fair, but that's just not what's happening when you vote for Kamala Harris. That's not what she cares about. And that's not what Donald Trump cares about for the other side. It's projection, really. That's what it is.
It is. And on that point, everyone, thank you so much for joining. I know we're way over, Jason. Thank you for extending your time, because I know you have a family and I have to get back to this. Everyone, thank you for joining us on another Not Conscious. It's been amazing. This has been If by No Kings. Jason, please share your information so we can get a touch of you so we can call it a night, my friend.
Yeah, follow me on X at Drop the Mask Pod. I've been taking a break from my regular podcasts, mostly to do this, and also family things going on. Growing my family very soon.
We have news yet? We have news yet?
I'll leave it at that, but thanks everybody for tuning in. Really happy that you guys spend your time with us. I know there's a million other podcasts out there that you could be listening to, 100 million other things you could be doing on your Monday night, but we really appreciate the people that come in and comment and watch and hang out with us. It's fun. We appreciate it.
100%. And the last thing I will share, I heard about this thing, and you can look it up. It's Ron Paul, RONPAUL, BBQ.com. And it turns out it's Ron Paul's 90th birthday party barbecue in Lake Jackson, Texas. You can get tickets for, student for $99. I think entry is $199, then you get VIP for like $9.99. Different levels, whatever. And I was looking, I came across before I went to Freedom Fest. I mentioned a little bit of my ho-hum experience, or I was like I projected my own, like I was afraid I was going to be a nobody again. Not a nobody, but like felt like on the outside, not like within, you know what I mean? Like really part of it. I didn't feel like I would be really part of it. So I was like, man, that Ron Paul thing, that'd be a bucket list to meet a guy like Ron Paul and all the people who would associate with him. So I go to Freedom Fest. Long story short, I banquets there's the last night. I had such a good experience. I'm typing into the ronpaulbarbecue.com to buy the $1,000 VIP ticket at the banquet. And I'm looking through all the speakers as I'm going to hit the tickets. Half of the people I had personal conversations with or said hello to at Freedom Fest, like Matt Kibbe and Spike Cohen and so many amazing people. So I run over to Spike. I'm like, Spike, I give you consent to hit submit, because I don't know if I can, but I give you consent. He's like, are you sure? And I'm like, do it, brother. Do it. So he hit it for me and I consented to it. You have it on video that I consented live now. I cannot get out of it. So I dropped $1,000 to see Ron Paul August 9th. And then I got hotels from 8th to 11th, got flight, got rental car. Now there are people who had said they were going to go and not, but I'm like, thank you to Freedom Fest and everything that happened. Thank you to you, Jason. Really, like, just getting this thing is really building momentum. The messages are becoming more clear. They're becoming more concise. I really feel like more of a honing to it. And it just feels great. I'm just thankful that you're willing to do this with me, because it is easier with the back and forth. So thank you.
Yeah. It's been great, man. It's been good for me too, because I'm much more able to just work without notes and just talk. So that's been good. Because that's really what I wanted out of all of this. Like, I want to share the message, right? That's why I really started. But at least the number 2 or 1A thing that I wanted to do is develop my speaking skills. I've never been great at this. I've never been good at just going off the cuff and talking, but doing this has helped a lot. So yeah, again, appreciate everybody on the chat. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for following us. Please go follow our Rumble channel, If by Whiskey. Leave some comments, some likes. That really helps. So yeah, that's it.
100%. Thank you again. This has been another If by Whiskey. If by No Kings, if by Jason, if by Mark, if by bye, if by bye. No. Once again, Justin, William, Thane, Zach, everyone who joined. I love the engagement. Once again, we welcome voices. We get it wrong sometimes, guys. We've been corrected before. It's a beautiful thing. It doesn't hurt to say we're wrong, because because we've been wrong. We know it. We've done it. So
yeah.
Thank you again, Jason. It's been a great night. We will talk again soon. Bye. And this is really a hanky. This is a napkin, not a Coke ball. Pierce Farmer, whoever the hell that other guy was, Macron. All right,
that's
everybody.
what they all say.
Take care, everybody.
I've got my iron and my 6